Oh God, what was that?
You're to blame with these fast counts.
Yeah.
It was
We're
a slow
trying to get
count.
them
You have a chance
before.
not to.
No, because it gives you more chance to come up with a word to say. So I'm not doing that.
You would think that none of us have thought about it as the week's gone on.
You're making a rough going back here.
Would be the first. Would not be the first time. Right. Welcome along, everybody. We are back. This is going to be, if my calculations are correct, episode number 80 of all of this fun games that we've been doing. So yeah, it's getting, that 100 is getting close now. So we've got a little bit of, we're gonna do the standard run through, because we didn't do it last time. We didn't mention all of this stuff, and we just went straight into it because I honestly wanted to figure out where on earth these lot were going to go, and the fact that they went down to the bar was hilarious, so I really wanted to do that. So we're gonna start with the basic stuff. So you can all see the map already, because I've gone straight onto it, because the map is offered by Foundry, and so we've got that on there. And you've got the background music, which is all stuff that is on Sirenscape. It just happens to have been ported into this Foundry VTT module, which is supplied by Paizo, because we are playing the Abomination Vaults, a Paizo official adventure path for Pathfinder 2nd edition. We are effectively using the remaster, kind of ish. And the reason why I say kind of ish is because we still use phrases like flat-footed that aren't actually in the remaster. And we've got a few characters that are set up with some of the old feats and various bits and pieces, because the equivalent doesn't exist anymore. But thankfully they are in the background of the mod of the Foundry, so we can still use them. They're still there. It's simple things like the fact that Neffy is still classified as a tiefling. Tieflings don't exist anymore, but all of the old rules are still there. We haven't gone through the process of completely converting everything over. Neffy would be a Nephilim, and that would just be a little bit of a tongue twister that I'm not willing to quite go into just yet. What we are going to be doing today is probably this fight, because after kind of getting a little bit confused at the thing, just shut the door. Yeah, that worked. A little bit of confusion with the bar. Went downstairs, heard some heavy metal. Probably the first time that's ever happened to these guys.
Not Neffy. She's heard it before. She's been to some weird places.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we definitely need to have a conversation about that, like, chain club demon thing upstairs.
And what they've found is a very unpleasant abomination of a creature. So we're going to be relatively quick, as with all things. I'm going to pause. We're going to roll initiative, because all of that sort of stuff needs to be done, and then we're going to we'll come back with those initiatives very, very shortly. But the first thing is just to say, yeah, it's time for a little bit of combat. Haven't done this for a little bit of time, so yeah, bear with us. We're almost certainly therefore going to get a whole host of this stuff wrong. But we'll be back in a second, guys. We're just going to very quickly pause the recording. Right, they've all rolled. Just very quickly change the music. Let's get the old versatile battle music out, shall we? There we go. Combat music. Okay. Just slowly drip away all of that lot. Right. Let's do a little bit of initiatives then. Inva.
19 plus 9 plus 1 from Moz for 29.
29. Okay. Neffy.
25 in total.
25. Okay. Phelan.
20.
20 for Phelan. And Moz.
With incredible luck, and that 20 plus 12 for 32.
Okay,
Nice.
32. That's not bad. That's not bad. There's only one slight downside.
It automatically goes first?
Well, no, it doesn't automatically go first, but it is going first. So
Jesus.
you're going to be slightly out on that one.
Oh.
This is a
so
plus 25 to everything monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's considerably within danger levels for you guys, is what I'm going to say.
Hence I've
And
just shut the
it's-
door.
Has it got frightened 2 already?
It's got
it
frightened 2
frightened two?
already, and it's still rolled higher than you in terms of its
Jesus.
initiative. Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay, so it's not going to do that one. And I've got some of that, but not a lot of it. Okay, so the first thing it's going to do is it's going to move up to you, or at least it's going to start. So it's only got 15 foot of movement. It's quite a slow creature, so it slides up to there. Now, as it happens, that also still doesn't mean you're close enough. So, oh no, it does. It does. You are close enough at that point. Good. So it's then going to attack you with one of its tentacles. So this thing reaches out and attempts to try and hit you. So I've got a 5 on the dice. I'm targeting Moz here. That gives me a 25 to hit.
Oofed. I do not have my data sheet up. Where's my data sheet? That's 2 past my AC.
It is.
Damn it.
Yeah, it is. Right, so the first thing it's going to do as part of that is obviously the damage it's going to cause. So the hit itself, interestingly, as it hits you, it almost cuts you. It's not bludgeoning, it's slashing damage that this thing comes through with, doing you 15 points of slashing damage.
15 down to 15.
But I then also need you to make a will saving throw, please.
That seems unreasonable. No
Great.
modification is piercing box. Is it piercing? Yeah, it's piercing on that. Fine. We'll save, you
A
say?
will save, yeah.
It's gonna be a plus 10. 19! So far, so good. We're counting down slowly, so 29 total.
29 total. Okay, that is a success. But what I will say is, as you get hit by this tentacle, all of a sudden you start getting corrupted memories. So all of the sort of images of your life suddenly flash before your eyes, but rather than being your life as you remember it, it is the most ruined version of your life. All of the sort of potential things like family members dying when actually they didn't die at the most crucial time in your life and they weren't there. All of these horrendous thoughts of effectively your life collapsing and your history being rewritten into this most ruined, unpleasant form.
Okay. Out of curiosity, was that a fear effect?
It was not a fear effect, no. It is an emotional effect, but not a fear effect.
Okay. Because I was just skimming through my feats there, just
Yeah.
there's something triggers on fear. So, okay, not worry.
Okay, and then for its third and final action, it's going to do an attack on Inver. 16 on the dice. For a 36. Sorry, not even a 36. A 32.
That's a critical. That's a critical.
Through a closed door.
Well, even with the closed door, they'd only get 1 point of cover. 1 or 2 points of cover.
It's
so that
still
would
a
be
critical.
a 30.
My AC is 20, so
That's
yes.
a critical hit, yep.
I haven't had chance to raise my shield, or my AC is that with the shield. Either way, it's a critical hit.
Okay, so the total roll would be 19, but I then double that for 38 points of damage.
Standing.
I would then need you to make a will saving throw, please.
25.
Okay, you fail. as all of these crushing images that you now can't place as to whether or not they are real or not. So Moz, you were able to shake them off. You knew that they were alterations, but Inver can't figure out if this isn't actually the truth of her real life. You become stunned 2 for the next turn.
So, just for narrative purposes, are they of the life I remember, or are there ones I don't recognise that are from previous life as well?
A mix of everything.
Excellent! How amazing!
That is the 3 actions for this creature. It is Moz's turn.
So I'm also gibbering in the corner behind the door, as well as being very, very, very damaged. Okay.
So, a quick shout check if it's available as a free action. Staying or going in?
I'm
Quick
fine with
votes.
you doing that.
Stay and fight. Close the door. 2 options. Stay out
Close
there.
door.
Close door.
Okay.
Action 1, close the door. Action 2, grab Invar. Action 3, move backwards a piece.
Okay, so there is one slight downside.
Uh-oh.
It pursues us through the door.
Closing the door is a manipulate action. What triggers on manipulate actions if a creature has it?
Waving goodbye.
Yes, waving goodbye through your face.
That's the one. It does indeed have an attack of opportunity, and it will a reactive strike. Sorry, that is the new term, a reactive strike. So it's going to use its reactive strike. 7 on the dice for a 27.
What? Rude. Beat me by 4 again. Okay, keep going.
18 points of damage.
Oh, Jesus.
You don't have to
14
roll
then.
though, because you've already effectively rolled, and you are immune to the effect after you've had it hit you once.
So yeah, we'll still grab Invar. Bit of a shout and shake. It's not real, or at least that thing is. Whatever's in your brain ain't. Let's get clear, and we'll move backwards and basically kind of drag Invar backwards in a safe direction.
This is not how
As
you
long as,
deal with
does
trauma
not resist.
flashbacks.
Okay.
No, it's not. Player knows this. Character, not a clue.
You hear a number of slams on the door, but it doesn't seem to bother coming through. It's almost like it's angry that it can't get to you, and it can't work out how to get through the door.
So I can't move myself, but I would be back.
Yeah, it's because it's
One
not
more.
your turn.
Yep.
However,
Mhm.
we're going to end that combat because you fundamentally go, not having this. In fact, you kind of close it and bar it and do a few other bits and pieces.
Right.
Can we put a sign on that door as well, so that we remember this is not a safe place to run?
Gay. Written on it. Bad memories. He writes bad memories.
Bad day for everyone.
My monster.
Phelan, should I use
Yes?
this wand that I've got for some healing, do you think? Is it it feels kind of significant enough?
It's probably a start. Let me do some bandaging, and then we'll see where we are.
Okay.
So let's try and bandage Inver. Were the 24. So it's going to be still in the realms of 2d8s here. Where are my d8?
Gone. Oh, okay, she's not outside.
Okay, so we start with 12 hit points back for Inver.
Good.
And yeah, it's probably best to use the wand because that's an item that needs to be gotten out and waved rather than inbuilt things. And while you're doing that, I'll slap some salve on Mozron as well.
Okay. So this is a 2nd level heal spell, so that is 2d8 plus 8.
2d8 plus 16.
Yeah, plus 16, yeah.
Nice.
Incredible.
Okay, it's 10 hit points back from Oz.
So,
32 to 42.
23 and 5 for 28.
Nice.
Which I can't add up, but is fine because it puts me on max.
Okay.
Welcome to my world.
Let's see what I have left. I'm gonna just dump a level 1 on mods from the staff. We'll see how we get on with that.
I have heal that I can cast on Moz if that would be helpful.
We'll hang on to that for a while. So that's another 15 for Moz.
Getting up to 57. That's about how good I was feeling before we decided to go through the funky.
So so we're back to a reasonably comfortable level.
We're good for workable. Let's not burn things we don't have to. Yeah.
Yep. So, having seen some of the thing, Matt, can I do some kind of nature recall knowledge, identify what that might have been? Bear in mind, I'm crap at all of those things, but
Occultism.
So, occultism.
Occultism I could do.
Occultism would be the one to go for. However, before you do jump on that, let me just have a very quick look at what laws you've got, just to see if any of those would be helpful. As it happens, no. Unfortunately, there isn't any special law that you could lean into that would help you, so it would just be occultism.
Okay, can I roll that?
Go on.
You can. Yep, I'm happy for you to give it a go. Remastered, they've got rid of the rules on critical fails, give you false information, so it's now no longer quite so important for the GM to roll it.
I am still sufficiently terrified that I have no idea. For 3 on the dice plus 8.
16 and 10,
I rolled
26.
a natural 20 with a plus 11. Which 31.
Okay, so anybody that got over 24 is going to get something from this. Okay. You do recognize it. It is a kind of flesh warped creature. It's an aberration. That doesn't surprise any of you. But it's known as an Inacurse, spelt IRNAKURSE. And the shape and form of it is kind of something that you've heard stories of. These are creatures that are created. They're made by warping flesh together into this form. So they are created creatures of some sort of spellcastery type nature. There is somewhere something making this thing, or that made this thing. Okay, whether or not it's still alive or not, that's another question.
That was what I was going to ask. Like, if the thing that made it is dead, would it die, or does it carry on?
It's still technically a creature with its own system of life.
Right.
Now, there is, however, something that you noted. Something that bothers Moz, because I believe you got more than 24.
26.
You noticed that this thing appeared to be weaker than it should be. And it was still clocking you quite happily about the head. But there was something about it. It looked afflicted in some way.
Question. Obviously, we've got... I don't think we've sold them. I think we've kept a hold of them for now. Or did we hand them off to a self upstairs? The books on on raising things in undead and various abomination forms.
You haven't
Is
got
there anything that
on you? I think you kept them with Rin,
we have some books with us.
some of the really yes you did.
So we got some of the really, we got the Secrets of the Skull, Grave Feasts, and What the Worm Knows with us.
Is there anything in there that could give us a read on this kind of stuff, or
Very
is it
loosely,
a different kind of weird?
It's a different. Well, it's not a different kind of weird. It's still flesh warping, which is fundamentally what what the books you've read
The worm one.
have. The books that you've read were all about how to turn yourself into one of those creatures that you fought, the worm that walks thing, at least in part. But these kinds of flesh warped creatures were mentioned because they're another way of experimenting with the physical body and creating monstrosities.
Because himself was made from worms, and Moz basically kind of like has been 30 seconds or so in reverie, and starts in the middle of the thought pattern. Because himself, who was upstairs, who was made of worms, who was the lover of what's her face, who ran this tower. I'm having a memory day. He was into all this kind of weird stuff, but, and here's the critical bugger, the blue shield was in the way, so he ain't been down here. So there's something else actively down here making stuff like this. And either they're not making it right or they're not quite there yet. How related is the player to GM? How related is this to that horrible mass of giblety bits that's in the arena? Is there
Have yourself a hero point.
Ooh.
Because now you put 2 and 2 together, you think the creature that's in the arena may well just be an exceptionally big flesh warped creation.
Bigger than the one we've just seen.
Oh yeah, considerably.
Yeah, we're
bigger
not
than
going
the one
there.
we've just seen.
No.
Yeah, by a margin. Definitely by a margin.
No.
Nuh-uh. Can't make me.
Can we get somewhere slightly further away while we figure out which other ones we're not going back to?
I'm gonna get some chalk out and write on the next to the door or something, like flesh warp or something to remind us. So we don't just open the door going, oh yeah, this is fine.
GM, can we put notes on the map? I forget. Can we do that?
You can't, unfortunately. It is a mod that I can potentially look for, but it is not at this point in time.
Not today, but might be useful for future if we're going to start writing a bad wolf on doors. Yeah. Well, whilst we're horrified on that, we do have the one that was locked, as opposed to the one that's left wide open.
Yeah, why was this one left unlocked, but that one left locked? That concerns me.
Well, now we know to
Makes
add
it easier
meaty
to
slapping.
Makes it easier to feed the creature because you go for the door that's unlocked.
Yeah, sure.
Might have to be having words with Xanax about conversations about neighbours not being so neighbourly. What's going on up here then? Still a suspiciously long corridor.
It is indeed a very long corridor.
Really fucking suspicious.
I'm looking for traps and stuff while I do this.
Moz is going to follow on behind.
Being as sneaky as I can.
I'm going out the back because it might still come after me.
If it helps, you're not stunned anymore. Right.
Oh, good. But they did just come probably. I was going to say the closest I've ever come to dying, but that's not true because I'm a dusk walker. But you know,
I thought I'd give you a glimmer of hope. As you're walking up the corridor, Nephi, you do not notice any form of traps in here in any way, shape, or form. There's no indication of anything. What you do notice as you start to move further up and further up is that there is a chamber ahead of you, which seems to have some sort of octagonal shape because you start being able to see the actual wall on the far side quite easily.
Charlie, come on. No, he's staying.
Octagonal, like I'm a bunch of worms in a meat suit. Octagonal.
Well, like the chamber he was in, sort of.
Yeah.
As you get to this point, you can notice first
Hey.
is rust. There's a lot of rust on the floor. It's what's giving it this sort of red coloration. But there is grime and various other bits and pieces. And in
Is
addition to that, there is 2 doors. And when you look up, you see a grate in the floor of the chamber above you. And I have a feeling.
Is that rust or is that iron oxide like dried blood?
Now that you mention it,
Iron oxide's iron oxide.
now that you mention it, there is a certain amount of potential dried on nature to this rather than it being metallic in any way. And you actually start putting 2 and 2 together. The floor above had one chamber which had a large iron grate in the center of it, and it was the one with all of the chains in it, if you recall, with the creature that was quite merrily trying to effectively use the chains to flay you.
Oh, that one. Yes. So it could be a mix of both. Could be genuine rust off the chains and also blood.
Could be, yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. We have a problem where Dave is not
Okay,
here,
pause.
but here.
Ave Omnissiah.
Yeah, we've done the litanies and we
Yeah.
are back. Okay, so yes, yes, it could be rust off the
Okay.
chains that were above because they were quite rusty chains, to be fair. But it could also be dried blood, quite easily.
Is there any exploded squiggy beasts down here? No, it's not squiggy.
No,
it's not the
not
squiggy beasts.
quite. Yeah, yeah. No, this was the one with the actual grate in the room with the thing that Neffy doesn't like because it reminds them too much of themselves.
Oh, yes.
No.
Auntie.
Mm.
But yeah, you've got 2 doors leading out here. One west and one east. And then you've obviously got the double door west as well.
I suggest we check what's through these doors first before we go, so nothing comes up behind us.
I
That we
would
don't
absolutely, yeah.
Listening and checking for magic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And spirits.
Mm-hmm. Figured you might be. Okay, so first thing is you don't detect any magic. You don't detect any spirits. You do, however, hear something.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you can hear is it's almost like something sticky sort of slopping over a surface, like almost like
Ew.
an oozy kind of noise.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But also, ew.
We're not under that black ooze room, are we?
No, that was on the other side.
I thought so.
Which way do the doors seem to open? In towards us or into the
room.
space?
Into the room.
So not towards us, big.
Correct.
Because I was just going to put pitons in the thing to stop it. Never mind. For the love of God, what are you doing, dog? Get out. Sorry, he's decided he's going to get under the desk for some reason and just
Of
be a pain
course.
in the butt.
Of course.
Helping.
It's okay, he's going to lay down his bed and the look he's giving me. My God. I'm the most evil person in the world. Stop looking at me like that, dog.
So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't like that door. Sloppy wet thing's definitely a problem.
For now. I mean, we could like look a little bit and then shut the door.
Then the not quite steps backwards, but definitely recoils from that particular suggestion. Tell you what, I'll be over here while you do that.
Okay, I'm gonna try this door.
Okay.
And I'm essentially opening it, having a look, and then shutting the door. Okay? But obviously it can't easily do that on the game screen. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So
Okay.
open, observe. What the fuck? Okay. They see nothing. Oh! Never mind,
Yeah,
I see
dude.
them. Shut the door.
So, in brief, because
We're gonna get dead by this.
you know, I don't normally allow for this sort of thing, but the first thing you notice is that there are metal shelves and operating tables throughout the room, which hint at some sort of origin for what this room was for. However, there were multiple different bits around the room which were pristine clean, and what I mean by this is like bits of bone that were right down to the whites. They're not even yellowed for what you know. And you start being able to put two and two together, because effectively what you saw was two relatively large yellow oozes moving through the room. Very, very clearly what they appeared to be doing is eating whatever garbage had been thrown into the room, and they've been surviving off of cleaning the room.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things that did, however, catch your eye. There were very, very clearly bits that they haven't been able to eat. They can't eat metal by the looks of things, because there was very clearly a chain shirt in there that was pristine. It looked brilliantly clean, but no damage done to it at all. There was a steel shield in one corner. There was some daggers lying around. Bits like what looked like a fishing tackle box, just in the corner somewhere. 30 foot of chain. Really looked like it was in very good condition because it's been cleaned. What I'd like is for you to make a occultism check, please.
Is 11 plus 11, so 22? Yeah,
Okay.
22.
So you recognise these things. They're known as yellow ochres, or ochre jellies.
Yes. Yeah.
They're mindless. They just react to everything. And in fact, one thing that you do know is that they react to motion. Very specifically, motion that comes through the air. So the fact that you're walking around, they hadn't noticed you. But as soon as you open the door, you realise that both of them had shifted themselves to look towards you. And then the door closed, and there was a little bit more movement, but now they seem to have just gone back to whatever they were doing, because they're not sensing anything shifting around. They are not overly strong. They're about your kind of ability. You could probably face off against these creatures. They're not like the thing that you've just faced below you, which you know from fables is quite a strong creature. These are relatively common. Middling low level heroes tend to deal with things like oozes. That's not a big problem. But the other thing you do know is they're actually relatively easy to distract. Because you can actually offer them food, and they will just sit there and merrily stop and eat their food and not attack anything. They can be fed and kept from attacking, because they're just a mindless creature that's after food.
So what you're saying is we could get pet yellow ochres.
Now, no, you wouldn't get pets because the second that there's no
Aww.
the second there's no food available, they go for whatever food is available, and that includes you. It's
So
just
just
that
keep
you
having
can
food.
distract them.
I'm guessing Neffy's kind of like. Is Neffy saying this out loud? Explaining what they are?
Yeah. She immediately, like, as soon as she shuts the door, she'll be like, okay, I saw, was it 2 that I saw in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are the odds we've got enough bits and pieces of rations that we could bait these guys out, or these ochres out?
And shove them in with the flesh walker. That was exactly what
You
I
got
was
it.
thinking. I mean, do we just leave a trail to the door? Let them go past us. We go in this side room and just let them follow through to the movement.
But how do they then get into the room with the flesh
We'll have to have someone who is quick open the door to the flesh walker and run away.
Which who are we expecting to win this? Are we thinking they're going to eat it, or it's going to?
Well, someone's going to fuck something up. Someone's going to cause severe harm to somebody else.
It is reducing
and
the
I think
number
it's
of
a win-win.
problems, I guess.
Reducing the number of problems, it might weaken it a little bit because it's then had to fight something.
Here's your biggest problem. As much as I love this plan and I would love to be able to let you do it, the one thing you do know about yellow ochres is they are as slow as all hell, and you would have to leave the door open to let them get through.
And it would take them
That's
a very long time.
Hang on. We open the doors
Set up for
here.
a long rest.
We open the door. Are there any more doors in this corridor? I'm just trying to do the Towers of Hanoi on what doors we have to leave open. Let's do a quick bit of a... Yeah, because for whatever reason, that horrible Ickney Inklibo Bartat in the other room, it stopped at the door. It didn't look like it was chained down or anything? Question mark?
No, didn't look like it was chained down.
So leave that door open, and with these doors open, and them in the corridor and next to each other, someone's going to do something to someone.
But what if it can come out when the door is open? Then it is loose in the corridor. No, thank you.
Loose in the corridor with the ochres in between us and them.
If for a while, sure. And then
I think the proprietor of that bar would really mess it up.
I do think that would not work under the yes, you're welcome as long as you don't cause trouble condition.
Do you really want to be welcomed by them?
I'd like to be able to get back out through the bar when we're done, yeah.
I mean, they'll be dead because the flesh walker's going to kill them.
So.
Oh, God.
That door to open, that door to open, and then get there.
What do we know about how hard they are to kill?
The
ochres.
Okay. Yeah.
So racking your mind a little bit more about them and trying to think about that sort of thing. What's the problem with killing them? So they fall under a hell of a lot of immunities for a start. They are immune to acid, critical hits, electric, mental, piercing, precision, slashing damage, unconsciousness, and visual effects. Okay, so you cannot affect them with any of those sorts of things. That's the first problem. Okay. They are dead easy to hit. Like super easy to hit. They are just a big ball of goop. But they have quite a lot of health. They're tough in other ways. They're not hard to hit, but they'll survive a bit. The biggest problem with really killing them is what will happen if somebody does attempt to deal slashing damage to them.
Oh, they multiply.
They split.
Yeah.
And
now, thankfully, you've remembered that. You've remembered that to begin with, but
yeah, I can't actually help in any fight with them, to be honest. So,
Could we just
They're
run past
immune
them
to
at
piercing
that
as well.
slope?
You literally, the only thing you can hurt them with is bludgeoning weapons, fire,
Yeah.
cold.
I mean, I can drop damage like that on them.
We could just leave them.
Could we run past them?
As I say, you could set up a simple distraction. Set them up a pile of food.
So why don't we just put some food in, like, this corner, however far with that round the thing it went, and then go past them differently.
Well, it's only a case of if we want to go in the room. Otherwise, it's just baiting them to try and get to the other corridor.
I mean, there are other places we can explore before we have to do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go this way.
Yep. Well, we know what's loosely around the place.
Oh, goody, we've got 2 doors here.
Mm.
I am going to walk all the way around the edge and see if I can detect any spiritual things in any direction, and then end up back where I currently am.
Okay. You spend a little bit of time wandering around, putting your senses out to see if that you can find anything spiritual. You do not detect anything of a spiritual nature.
Magic.
This level doesn't feel like it has those. It feels very corporeal.
Mm-hmm. Detecting magic. Again, you take a wander around, reaching out your senses. You do not detect anything magical.
Okay.
Listen at the doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll listen at this one first. Go clockwise.
Okay, so you listen at that door, spend a little bit of time, and actually you start to realise something about this room. That really, it's not a pleasant sensation, and it's just a sound. And you've heard this before in other places. It sounds like there's a heartbeat coming from the other side of the door, a loud, repetitive dun 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 dun.
Purple light room.
I don't like the sound of that. What can I hear at the other door?
Did somebody bury a heart under the floorboards?
I feel like
Listening at this door, you don't hear anything.
The teleportation, like I'm going to yeet you out of the lighthouse room, had that kind of heartbeat sound.
Mm-hmm. Something very similar to
the
it.
next layer. That kind of tech.
Well, there was another space that that had that sort of odd thrumming heartbeat. And if you remember, it was episode number 69. So
Nice.
it was the long dark shaft, if you recall.
It was indeed a throbbing sound from the deep shaft.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the bottom of that then?
Have we got to the base of the shaft?
It's starting to sound like it. Balls.
okay, so which ball do we want to try first? The right one or the left one?
I don't know, but I think this is the right one. Anyway.
So whichever one's going to be less hairy. I've had quite enough fear for one evening.
Does that count as a facepalm, GM?
Nope.
You shook your head. It was close.
I did say that. It was close.
Go on.
You don't
You know
want
what?
me to be.
Do a
You
head
don't
shake
want.
one.
You don't want me to be face palming, and you know it.
We're gonna do a head shake counter instead because you don't face palm, but you head shake.
Very rare, very difficult to game on this.
Mm-hmm. It does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you
Very
what.
rare.
Let's slip in this one.
Mm-hmm.
We're slipping in the right ball, yeah?
Okay.
That's the one.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm beginning to regret starting that line now.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't hold the blame for this, so.
Okay. You open up this doorway. The first thing you notice is that it is indeed that central shaft that you've seen before. Okay, so it's a wide staircase continuing downwards, leading, leveling out enough to allow passage round between the two doors on this floor. There is a hallway with a door. Well, there's a door on the east wall. There's the one that you've opened to the west. And then the space between them is sort of rounded. It's this rounded shape. There is what appears to be on the northern side, almost like a cloudy window that overlooks an exceptionally large pool. In that pool, from where you are, you can see a little body bobbing up and down. This little circular thing bobbing in the water.
Us.
Okay, or what's left of it anyway, is sat and
That's
a
interesting.
little
Yeah.
pool of blood. So you've got some idea that there might be something there. In the centre, there is a dim orange glow which seems to be emitting from the centre of this column. And there's a sulphurous stench coming from below. In addition to that, chained to the railing on the northern balcony, the northern perimeter of this walkway, is a creature that you have seen before. It moans and wails ever so slightly as you open the door and look on it, and you see one of these things.
Ugh.
However,
Hang on, it changed the wall.
What's worse is from the centre of this ongoing staircase, you can see wrapped around the sort of inner edge is an exceptionally large, long, worm-like creature. It has multiple tiny barbed feet, an exceptionally large tri-pointed mouth with beak-like endings on each end, and its tail appears to split into two with dagger-like ends on this thing. This creature looks like this.
I mean,
And
it looks
it-
cool, but horrible.
It shrieks at you and begins to clamber up the stairs as the other creature begins to slide along towards you. I'm gonna end it
Housekeeping!
there. As you encounter something
Goody.
new and nasty.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. That was a bit shorter because I'm trying to make sure that we don't all end up being up stupidly late. And we'll catch you around next time. So it's bye from me for now, and bye from the players.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.